Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. For those of you who are just surfing around or tuning in for the first time, welcome. This is going to be the July 2019 love reading for the sign of Pisces, alright? I've already been shuffling the cards for quite some time, so we're going to get right into it. Pull out 2 oracle cards for you for this July period, starting out. It is safe for you to love. I love this card. And pay attention to red flags. This card has come out quite a lot this month. So this is a month, I think, for a lot of people to kind of pay attention to red flags. Interestingly enough, honeymoon at the bottom. So, safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all, right? And pay attention to red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Oftentimes, it's interesting, you know, what I find most often when I do readings for people is that there are always red flags. There's always kind of reaffirmations that people get. A red flag is just an affirmation of something that you probably shouldn't follow through on, right? It's an affirmation of a different kind, right? But a lot of people get that. We get energies, we get messages like that coming in, but we choose to ignore them, or we choose to second guess them. You know, so it's quite interesting. I've done a lot of readings lately, especially some private readings I've done where, on the whole, I just want to say on the whole, it just seems that people are, in our culture right now, is generally moving towards a kind of more spiritual place. But as we go there, a lot of people are still kind of having doubts. Right? They're still not really trusting their voice, their inner voice, just yet, even though messages are clear and their first instinct is to listen to their inner voice. But I think that's just growing pains, you know what I mean? Certainly as a whole, as a culture, it may be growing pains. We are going into the age of Aquarius, so it's supposed to be a more enlightened age coming up. So nevertheless, Pisces, we're going to get your 9 cards out and see what these 2 oracle cards are all about. Show me, Pisces, July 2019. Straight out, you have 10 of Pentacles, 8, Leo, strength, 2, High Priestess. Talk about self-confidence and trusting your intuition. She's coming out a lot for people. Temperance is coming in. Sagittarius, 14. The Chariot, wish fulfillment, getting ready to get on your path. And a 4 of Wands. Interesting. Wheel of Fortune, 10. 2 of Discs. And finally, you have the 4 of Cups. There's your warning card. Wow. All right, at the bottom of the deck, you have 2 of Cups. Honeymoon, blissful period. It's a beautiful time for a relationship right now for you, Pisces. It's really nice. This is a nice energy coming in for you. 10 of Pentacles. Everything's coming together financially. Everything's coming together at home. Where there, for instance, where there were areas where perhaps some of you are in relationships and the shifts are different and you haven't been able to have a real harmonious relationship or get together, that kind of thing changes. You know, you're able to work, you're able to have your relationship, you're able to have time for everything, you have abundance coming in. It's 10 of Pentacles, right? It's the whole shebang. However, 10 of Pentacles also indicates that there's about to be a change. There's about to be a little bit of shift. It could be that you are just about to go into a new phase in your relationship. Could be a even more committed phase, right? 10 of Pentacles doesn't necessarily mean you're already married. A lot of people read that into the card, but you know, it's just a stage in our life. It's 10 of Pentacles is a stage that's closing in our life, and opening, and a new stage opening now, right? And it could be that you're married or not married, or that you may get married, but right now you're in a very good position to jump off to the next stage. This is a good jumping off place to be. You're not coming from a place of fear or loss or You know, you're coming from a really nice, contented place, and now you're jumping into something new. You may be moving. You may be moving as a couple or with a family, right? And like I said, it may be a relationship that hasn't been so committed, but that now is taking the next step to commitment. It's quite nice energy. Certainly, if you have, it's safe for you to love. And honeymoon on the board with 2 of Cups at the bottom. Energy, strength is talking about boundaries, right? 8 is the number for boundaries, strengths and weaknesses, understanding our own strengths and weaknesses, and as a result, enforcing boundaries in our relationships, criteria, rules and regulations, you know, standards by which we expect people to adhere and by which we adhere as well, right? Also, just kind of dealing with sides of ourselves that are more kind of the passionate, I want to say animalistic sides of ourselves, anger, you know, the types of emotions that can be easily associated with the lion, you know, pride, anger, hastiness, you know, at times, you know, things like that. And so 8, the major arcana 8, strength, and Leo talks about, you know, controlling that, learning how to control that in a positive manner, learning how to control the sides of yourself that can get out of hand in a positive manner, you know. And again, that's also about boundaries, right? And that's about putting boundaries on yourself as well, about how you will allow yourself to conduct, right? How you conduct yourself and what you allow yourself to do and not to do, what you tell yourself is acceptable for you to do or not to do, or behavior that you think is acceptable for you, right? It's in our major arcana 8, our Leo strength, that we kind of decide our standards, you know. Some people are perfectly willing to throw down, take their earrings off, take their shoes off. Some people aren't, you know. A lot of these kind of boundaries and ways of conducting ourselves are all kind of figured out when we're in our Leo energy, right? And so right now you are perhaps thinking about that. Perhaps you're thinking about just if it's safe, if it is safe for you to love is coming in. You could be coming into a period now where you kind of are like adjusting how you behave. Certainly in relationships, you may be getting more mature in relationships, you know. You may have dealt with a lot of immature feelings that you may have had before. Certainly with temperance on the board, you have temperance there. So I'm sure you're probably dealing with a lot of things like overcoming jealousy, you know, envy, and things like that. And so you feel a lot stronger in yourself. High Priestess is here. Certainly you're doing a lot of shadow work. High Priestess is the highest card in the deck for self-confidence because she completely trusts her intuition. She completely trusts her inner voice and her gut. You know, she has wisdom. She, because she trusts her intuition, she learns a lot from a lot of situations because she follows through her first instinct. She doesn't squander her energy constantly trying to reaffirm her instinct, come up with proof, bang her head up against the wall. She trusts her instinct and her intuition, and so life seems to be so much more effortless for her. She seems to kind of flow from one situation to the next in so much more of a fluid way because she's not constantly fighting herself. She's not constantly fighting her instincts. She, you know, an example is for instance, if somebody comes into your life, right? Say, for instance, you have a scenario, even at work, right? Say you have a scenario at work and you're in a working dynamic, right? And you've been a working professional your whole life. And you're coming across a project or a working dynamic with a couple of people where you've experienced these energies before, you've experienced these kind of characters before, and some person acts in such a way that, you know, you've worked with somebody who's that type of person before. So your intuition is starting to tell you, your gut, your intuition, and also your experience, aka wisdom, because wisdom is just experience in motion, right? It's making decisions based on experiences, wisdom, to a certain degree. But all of that combined and trusting that you know already how this is going to go down, right? You know what to expect from this individual. So you plan ahead, right? Perhaps you plan ahead. Perhaps you're working with an individual whose personality is the type to sabotage a project when he doesn't get his way, right? And so, but you see this coming. You see this coming. Your intuition's telling you this is probably what's going to come down, but you don't completely trust it. You then have this other conversation with yourself where you're like, well, I thought that's probably what was going to happen, but I don't know. I don't want to judge people, give them a chance. And then guess what? Sure enough, this person sabotages the project. And so now the project falls apart, and what do you have to do? You have to do all this work now, which you could have avoided had you just listened to your intuition, right? Now, had you listened to your intuition and maybe put something in place or prepared for that eventuality, right? Because you trust your gut and you trust your inner voice, when this played out the way you expected it to play out, you could have been in a much better position to still make the best of it and to go forward. Certainly not to be in a position where you have to go all the way back to the drawing board, which is what you had to do last time. That's a real life example of how you can get stuck, wasting a lot of energy in life on situations that are not going to work out, and you knew damn well from the beginning it wasn't going to work out the way you expected it, but for some reason you have this kind of, a lot of people have this weird false altruism, like, that if they listen to their intuition, they're somehow judging people, they're somehow being judgmental. I mean, that's just ridiculous. If you don't want to, if you believe that throughout the course of a lifetime your experience is worth nothing, then sure, I guess every single time you do anything or meet anyone, you should treat it as if it's exactly a new occurrence, and you don't remember, you might as well forget every time anything ever happened before that was similar, because you're not learning from your experience. You're not learning to discern. There's nothing judgmental about it. And quite honestly, it's like a false sense of trying to take the high road, but all you end up doing is beating your head up against the wall, and then you're one of these people who's like, well, I try to listen to my intuition, but things never work out for me. I try to cultivate, I try to increase my spiritual connections, but things don't work out because they don't actually follow through. Temperance is in 14. So right now this is all interesting. You've got strength, high priestess, and temperance. This is all about you doing shadow work on your emotions, handling your emotions. Pisces, could be that you've been coming out of a period where you felt very volatile. Pisces, you can get your emotions are extremely complex, certainly because you can take on other people's emotions. A lot of empaths are Pisces. And so they can really feel other people's emotions, or kind of like resonate off of that and react off of that. But you're doing a lot of work right now with strength, high priestess, and temperance. These are all character building cards. These are all working on internal struggles. So 14, here you go. You have dominion over self. With the strength and the listening to your intuition, increase self-esteem, you're getting dominion for yourself, and you're getting ready to move forward on a new kind of vision. So I think this vision, this chariot is poised, right? He hasn't started yet. The chariot isn't engaged, actually. The chariot is just before you are about to engage on a path. And so the chariot energy is all about getting all your ducks in a row, getting everything ready. You see that there, the sphinxes aren't moving. Right? They're not actually going forward. They're just sitting there in preparation. Right? So this coincides with this 10 of Pentacles. So you're in this really beautiful position, in this spot in your life. You're making money. You may have a very nice relationship, right? But now you're ready to go forward with another wish fulfillment, because 7 is the number for wishes and dreams. So there's a part of a goal that you now want to reach. This is a new goal, or could be the evolution of another goal that, this could be the next stage of a previous goal. I feel very much this almost seems like it's like a new phase in your life. It could be a new job, a new career, a new passion. You could be doing new kind of art. Anything, it's something that really makes you feel like you're destined to do it. It's time for you to do it. It's part of your life path. And so you're coming from a very nice position of stability and love and support and nurturing and financial support as well to start this journey here, which is the chariot. And you're preparing yourself with all of this shadow work here, which is really lovely. Next step in the relationship. So yeah, you guys could be moving somewhere. You could be moving towards getting married, right? It could be, if you're in a long-term relationship, you could be Pisces, you might have been getting yourself here in the right headspace to move forward and maybe move closer to your love mate. You have Four of Wands here, which is like the highest, the most, it's the strongest card of relationship stability. That's why it's considered the soul card. A lot of people say 1111 because it's literally looks like 1111, but that's actually the only connection, honestly. Four is more to do with stability. And the reason why Four of Wands is about soulmate and twin flames, what we say twin flames energy, is because to have a relationship be maintained throughout lifetimes and reincarnations, the one thing it must have is stability. It must be stable. It must be able to maintain its stability, which is it must be able to maintain its integrity regardless of what either of the two people go through. So even if they're not together for one lifetime, or even if they've fallen out at one point, the basic integrity and stability of the relationship remains. And so they always come back together again. And so that's the nature of soulmates, right? So four is also, and what makes it so stable is this utter mutual respect that you have for each other. You know, you could, the respect in a sense that this is a relationship, this can be a relationship between two completely different people, but because they so absolutely respect each other as being just as valuable as themselves, just as valid and worth working for as themselves, and they both mirror that desire, that commitment, the stability is transforming. The stability is all that, you know. It's the highest card for, like I said, relationships, stability in relationships. So therefore something, and a relationship that can endure. And so Four of Wands comes up when you guys realize that, when you guys make that commitment. It can be when you decide to move in together, when you decide to go on the next leg of a relationship, or you maybe get engaged, right? Four of Wands is very much that kind of energy, that kind of next step in the creative and ultimately procreative process. So Wheel of Fortune is a lot of opportunities coming in. This is what I'm saying. This is such a beautiful, beautiful reading, right? So there's a lot of opportunities coming in. Wheel of Fortune is in. It could be that you guys might be moving someplace and you're not really sure how it's going to work out. For instance, like say you guys are living in two different states. You guys could be coming together to move into the same state. That's, you know, to now a third state, but together, right? Or you guys could maybe be deciding to move out of the country, or move here, or move there. I just feel like there's definitely some chance travel involved, right? And then as a result, and you're not quite sure how it's gonna go. You're kind of, you know, you're kind of taking, I don't want to say a risk, but you know that you have opportunities coming in, but it's not completely locked down what the next step is. But you do know that the next step is going to be full of kind of all like good opportunities, because you guys feel good being together. Four of Wands, this energy here, Two of Cups, Four of Wands, this beautiful coming out of the 10 Pentacles. This could very much be the same relationship that it has. And I'm not talking about the next stage, like, you know, you're jumping out of this, leaving this. This could very much be like you guys have worked up to here, right? Gotten some money together, and now you guys could be moving together somewhere else, or opening a business somewhere, or coming together in some kind of way. But it's going to be very like up in the air adventure kind of Wheel of Fortune territory. And then comes in the Two of Discs. And once that opportunity comes in for you guys, that's when you're going to have to worry about juggling, possibly juggling two types of lives. It could be even something like you guys going on a road trip, or deciding to travel for the summer, right? Maybe you decide to live in a van for the summer and go traveling. And then out of that come these other options now, of possibly maybe some options have come along in that lifestyle that bring in money, that are good options, that may be a future career options, right? And now you're deciding perhaps between juggling between that and where you guys were before, or that and another option. You know, at one point you guys, and you certainly, Pisces, are feeling like you're having to weigh up two options in your life, two very real options. Now, this could also be that you're still deciding. It could be that you guys visit and live together, or you come towards your mate, right? And then you're kind of like still deciding, still still like trying to balance. Like you haven't decided necessarily to move in with them, right? Or to move together, perhaps. It could be a scenario like that. And so now you're in this space where you're balancing your life that's kind of sometimes living with them and sometimes not. You know, it's not necessarily, you know, it's not one cohesive life just now, right now, but there's two major portions of it that you're having to juggle, right? And I don't think it's necessarily just like the relationship, but there's certain, it's Two of Pentacles, so you're juggling two parts of your life that have a lot to do with your stability, your money, your abundance coming in, right? And like that's what I'm saying, part of this could be coming out of, you know, some adventure that you guys had or whatever. But anyway, you get to this point where you feel like you're having to juggle two worlds. And also an offer comes in where you're kind of like, I'm not sure about that. And I think this offer is not necessarily just for you. It could be for you and your mate. And that's when you have to pay attention to the red flags. The red flags card is all about this down here. It's when you guys come together, I believe, or when you guys are moving. And this isn't necessarily only for people who are moving towards each other. You guys could already be living with each other. But whatever this next phase is, this chariot, wherever this chariot is now going to go, the path on which you guys are going to engage it together with Four of Wands, it's going to bring opportunities in, but it's at that point that you guys are going to be faced with kind of some juggling, some deciding, some decision making, some balancing of different parts of your life. And there's also going to be some offers coming in that you may have to scrutinize a bit more, you know. Don't get too excited to take an offer coming towards you right away until you know more about it. Watch out to red flags when this offer comes in, right? This could be an offer for you or an offer for you and your mate if you guys are if you're with someone together, right? Now, if you're single, then you're just doing this on your own, right? But you're still coming toward a relationship quite soon, because Four of Wands is certainly a relationship. You know, it's certainly a coming together of two minds in a way, right? A strong relationship, I believe. And in this case, a romantic relationship, because we have the Two of Cups here as well. So if you're single, you're certainly, this new path that you're taking, this new adventure that you're about to start with the Chariot is certainly bringing you closer to your soulmate. Closer to a place where it's safe for you to love. If you're already together, then you guys could be moving towards a honeymoon, right? It's the next step. And it's once that move's been made, like I said, that, and you find yourself with other opportunities that you have to take care down here, paying attention to the red flags that may then come up. Show us a little bit deeper clarity. I'm going to get 9 more cards out from the Thoth deck, as I always do. Show me. Pisces, July 2019. Show me. It's a beautiful reading, Pisces. It's a really great reading for you, whether you're with someone or not. You know, it's just about going to a really beautiful next stage, you know. King of Wands, moving forward. 3 of Wands, beautiful. 5 of Swords. Knight of Swords. Princess of Discs, the Sun. Magic's out of control. 3 of Discs and Happiness, 9. At the bottom, we have 2 of Wands. So moving forward, right? 2 of Wands is all about taking the next step on an enterprise. Right, taking the next step on an enterprise, taking the next step on an adventure, a goal, an idea. It's Mars and Aries. It's pioneering forward. It's pushing forward, you know, and with creativity, right? Beautiful. Underneath we have the Strength card coming through again. So it's your immense strength and your staying power that's really allowing you to do this, right? So Knight of Wands is definitely forward motion. You're definitely moving from a position, probably a quite comfortable position you've been in before, whether you're with somebody or not. If you're with somebody, you've both been comfortable, alone you've been comfortable, but now there's this fire in you to move forward with your plans, and you're certainly going to do it. 3 of Wands is coming in, so Sun and Aries. This is a lot of Aries energy here, Pisces. You know, strength, definitely, but you're keeping your virtue. You're staying true. You're remaining kind of bonded and loyal to those around you. So this is just, you know, just to remind you that, you know, you've 2 of Wands is here. Well, you got 3 of Wands here, right? So you're moving forward. Not only are you moving forward, but you're moving forward in unity with your mate, in a bond together. You're including them, and you're moving forward with strength, right? Strength is like, you know, with staying power, with ability to follow through, right? You're not going to get thwarted, or you're not going to, you know, falter along the way because of, you know, low energy like pride, or, you know, feeling sorry for yourself, or things like that. You're going to remain strong and certainly take this whole kind of next step forward. Intuition coming in on Five of Swords. So certainly pay attention to red flags. Listen to your intuition when people are around you. Five of Swords is cheating energy. It's backstabbing energy. It's energy that can come from anywhere, really. And certainly if you're on a path on a new adventure path, and if you're traveling, which I do feel traveling is inherent in this reading as well, always use your intuition and think twice about scenarios that you might be getting yourself into, because there are a lot of people out there that have very kind of like devious intentions. They have a lot of kind of like, you know, people certainly think up shit to do, you know what I mean? Like, I've always said that people don't need a reason to be cruel, just an opportunity. You know what I mean? So don't work, you know, sometimes don't try so hard to figure out why somebody would want to do that. If you feel like they may be on the verge of hurting you in some way, and I don't mean necessarily so much physical danger, but if they're in a way of putting obstacles in your path, or somehow making whatever you're wanting to do with your life difficult, and you really feel that in your bones, then you need to handle that. You know, do what you can to get away from that. Knight of Swords is coming in on Temperance again. Yeah, you're certainly tempering yourself. You have a lot of dominion of yourself. You're really going in and listening to yourself in terms of what your desires are, what your wants are, right? You're maintaining your stability, your civility, right? In times of stress, you're not bugging out. You know, and Knight of Swords is like you're remaining focused, right? You're staying focused through all of this. So even if this is like quite a chaotic period for you and your mate, especially if you guys are moving, you're remaining focused the whole time, and calm and tempered and able. Temperance also allows you to go with the flow. So if you're traveling, and it's when you have temperance, you exercise temperance, that when you have travel issues or travel hiccups, or things don't happen the way you expected, you can go with the flow. You can adjust, right? Princess of Discs is coming in, so you know you're on the start of something really beautiful, something new, something. Princess of Discs knows how much work it takes. She knows that the work begins the moment you sow the seeds. You know, that's the minute the work on a garden begins. And even actually before, when you're in the planning stages of sowing the seeds, which is the Chariot energy, the work needs to be put in. Thinking, planning, perhaps, you know, focusing your intention. Hi again. Sorry about that. My camera cut off because it got full. I actually used my phone. So anyway, we were talking about focusing your intention, right? Understanding what it takes to really get ready on that path with the Chariot, right? And then, you know, if you are able to do that, here you go. In comes the sun. Your reaffirmations come in. The sun comes in underneath the High Priestess here as well, to kind of reaffirm that self-esteem, that confidence is increasing, and that you should listen to it, right? So that's when we listen to our intuition, truly listen to it and follow it. Oftentimes we are proven correct, right? But that only works if we follow our intuition, right? So if you don't, say for instance, you know, like I said earlier, say for instance, your intuition tells you something, right? Tells you to follow your gut about a particular scenario, that it's going to play out a certain way, but you don't listen, right? And so instead, you wait, or you do other things to get proof, or, you know, you just go further down the, you know, the rabbit hole, or you just let it play out anyway, without any preparation for it, you know, without preparing yourself. And this is when I say you have an intuitive, when you get a gut feeling about something that may not play out positively for you, right? clearly. This is, if you feel like you have a good gut feeling about something, then of course you want it to play out for you. But if you have like a negative gut feeling or a negative intuitive message about something, right, and you don't listen, and you wait until, or you insist on getting proof before you kind of follow that intuition or follow that line of thinking, right? You never get the you never get that affirmation. You never get the confidence, right? You never build on that confidence. If you were to listen to your inner voice and act on it, when scenarios play out that confirm that you were correct, you immediately get a confidence boost. You know how you get that confidence boost that's like, I knew it. You ever figure something out? Think about it like, you ever figure something out? It's as simple as that. You figure like a TV show out or a plot out or something like that. You figure it out, and then just a little while later, you get, it's like, oh yeah, boom, it played out exactly the way I expected it to, right? Now, when you do that and you've also followed your gut feeling and you've protected yourself, it's a huge ego boost. It's a huge confidence boost. And it's what allows you to get even deeper into your high priestess energy and exercise that until you actually master this energy, right? Just because you pulled a high priestess doesn't mean that you've mastered her, or that you have that the highest level which she actually represents, but you're on the path to her, right? And the way to get there is to trust in her, right? And then so you've got the sun coming out to reaffirm the beautiful relationship. You've got stability in relationship. There is the warning signs, paying attention with all of these offers that come in. There's magician out of control. In the Thoth deck, I would say that there are 3 magicians actually. One completely out of control, one exalted, and one that's kind of in equilibrium. This one is is out of control. He's full of anxiety. He doesn't trust, himself. He's had too many things come in at once. And it's kind of like his whole energy is now being controlled by others, right? This is like, if you see behind him, he's got a large kind of creature that's kind of controlling him. It's like the monkey on his back, right? Now the monkey has grown so big it controls him. This can often indicate like overindulgence, drug use, overdependency, things like that, And this can, if there's like, if you've been getting a lot of good fortune and it's been seeming like this great ride, be careful not to overindulge so that you lose yourself, right? Be careful of red flags along the way. Here you go. These are the 2 opportunities. Remember I said earlier, there's going to be these opportunities. As a result of these opportunities, there's going to be some other stuff coming in that you're going to probably have to juggle in your life in terms of work. 3 of this confirms that, because 3 is the number for works and cooperation. It could be certainly that somebody comes in and offers you a job on a project, or to work with you, or they commission you to do something for them. And also here, be careful of offers coming in that aren't sincere, right? You have a lot of happiness, or you have everything kind of that you need right now, right? And so don't take on any unnecessary offers. Pay attention to red flags. This bottom line reminds me very much of this kind of energy that sometimes when things are going really good, don't like sort of like just think that everything is worth trying and everything is positive and nobody, you can trust everyone, and you can, what I mean? Sometimes things are going really, really good and we let our guard down, right? We let our guard down. We stop discerning. We stop picking between opportunities. We just kind of open up the floodgates. But, you have to be careful in those moments. You have to temper yourself. Remember the temperance. You have to make sure that you take the opportunities that are really worth taking, and the amount of them that you can truly handle, right? And certainly be careful of people who offer you empty cups, especially at a period when you're riding high, because sometimes those people may not have good intentions, and you're already happy, You're happy where you're at, so don't do things that in those moments sometimes we maybe even want too much. We've already got all the wishes we wanted. 9 of Cups is wish fulfillment's getting kind of like, your dreams come true. So don't press your luck, right? By just now allowing any old person to come in, or just taking any old opportunity, right? because so far everything has been working out so well. There's still room for people to try to take advantage of you, right, or try to manipulate the situation. It's just, I'm not saying it's anything majorly nefarious, but I'm just saying pay attention to the red flags, and that's what's coming up. But the only time there are any red flags are right down here, which I hope you can see the cards. Let me move them up a little bit. There you go, right? So right down here with that 9 of Cups and 4 of Cups, and with that 3 of Pentacles and 2 of Pentacles, certainly with this Magician out of control. So take care, especially if you get an abundance of money, you know, not too much drugging and drinking and partying. You know, sometimes people get out of control and it's like the party never ends. So take care, all right? But I'm going to call it. This is your reading, Pisces. It's a beautiful reading for the next step. A lot of things are going to be happening. A lot of forward motion, certainly with the Knights coming in and the Chariot at the center. 2 of Cups, honeymoon, certainly a beautiful phase for those of you who are in love. And those of you who aren't in a relationship, there's certainly a beautiful relationship coming in for you. All right, very soon. Very, very soon. As soon as you get on this path, as soon as you engage this Chariot, that love will come in as a result of it. For those of you who are single, I feel very much four of Wands with the Sun. It's just beautiful. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you're a subscriber, even if you're not a subscriber, you're just surfing the web today and something brought you here for this Pisces reading, I thank you for your time watching. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to, or comment below. Otherwise, I can also schedule private readings if you follow the address at the bottom of your screen. But for right now, it's a beautiful month for you guys. I love you, Pisces. Bye-bye.